You don't exist. Not officially. If you were to die tonight, there would be no body to bury, no digital footprint to delete, and no one to ask where you went. You are an eraser. The person the world's most powerful people call when they've made a mistake that can't be fixed, a mistake that can't be solved with a bribe. You don't kill. That's for different departments. You simply ensure the mess never happened. You turn something into absolute nothing. You're 22 years old. You just graduated from a top-tier forensics program. You had the highest honors in your class. You were recruited before you could even walk. They didn't offer you a job at the FBI. They didn't want you in a state lab. Instead, a man in a charcoal suit found you. He met you in a park in Arlington. He showed you a picture of your mother's house. He didn't threaten her life. He told you the mortgage was paid off. All you had to do was show up. You arrived at Manhattan penthouse at 3 a.m. The air inside was thick and heavy. It smelled like expensive gin and copper. There was a girl on the floor, a fatal overdose. Next to her sat the son of a senator. He was shaking and crying. He was staring at his blue, cold hands. Your handler didn't look at the boy. He looked at his watch and then at you. 6 hours, he said. You didn't feel like a person anymore. You felt like a surgical machine. You deployed an industrial-grade ozone generator. It began to scrub the air of death. You used high-concentration hydrogen peroxide. You applied a specialized enzymatic cleaner. It breaks down bloodstains at a molecular level. You made sure no luminol spray could find a glow. You cut out a section of the Persian rug. You replaced it with a perfect match. The match was found in the hallway closet. You wiped the fingerprints from the crystal glasses. You polished the brass door handles. You sanitized the remote and the light switches. By 8 a.m., the boy was gone. He was in a private clinic in Vermont. The girl's body was moved 3 miles away. She was found in a rainy alleyway. There was no connection to the penthouse. The room looked like a stage magazine shoot. You received a $10,000 bonus. It was tucked inside a heavy brown envelope. You went home and vomited in the sink. That was your first real lesson. The law is just a suggestion for the rich. Justice is a commodity you help hide. By the time you're 26, you realize something. Physical cleaning is the easy part. The real danger is the digital trail. You move to level 2. You're no longer scrubbing marble floors. You're scrubbing the cloud. Your office is a cold, dark room. It sits in a secure facility in Virginia. You have access to black site tools. Tools the public will never know exist. A Fortune 500 CEO is caught on camera. The video would tank the global stock market. You don't just delete the video file. Deleting a file leaves a suspicious hole. Instead, you overwrite the reality. You use cutting-edge generative deepfake tech. You alter the face in the grainy footage. You make it look like a fired executive. You hack into the regional ISP. You glitch the data packets of the viewers. You create 50,000 dummy social media accounts. They flood the web with a new scandal. A fake celebrity breakup becomes the headline. The original story is buried by the noise. You learn the 48-hour rule of the internet. If a story is quiet for 2 days, it dies. The public's attention moves to a viral dance. You're making $150,000 a year now. You live in a high-rise with a concierge. He knows you as Mr. Miller, an insurance risk assessment consultant. You have a girlfriend, a graphic designer. You lie to her every single night. You tell her you're working on reports. Technically, that is the truth. You're assessing the risk of the truth, and you're making sure that risk is 0. But you start to notice a black SUV. It's parked across the street every night. You realize even the ghosts are watched. Paranoia becomes your only constant companion. You're 32, and the promotion arrives. You are now a relocator. You handle the living mistakes. Whistleblowers who have become a major liability. High-ranking assets who know too much. Your job is to make them disappear. Not into a grave, but a new life. You meet them in hidden safe houses. The rooms smell like stale coffee and terror. You provide them with the standard package, a new name and a social security number, a birth certificate printed on vintage paper, a life story that is perfectly plausible. You train them to kill their own memories. You tell them to forget their mother's name. If they contact the past, they die. They know exactly what ends means. One night, you relocate a brave journalist. She found a trafficking ring in an embassy. She looks at you with absolute contempt. How do you sleep at night? She asks. You don't tell her about the pills. You take 4 different medications to sleep. You don't tell her about the thermal cameras. You scan your house every time you enter. You just hand her a fake passport and a one-way bus ticket to Idaho. The pay is now monstrous. $500,000 every year. Offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. You own property on 3 different continents. But you haven't taken a vacation in years. You've built cages for so many people. Now you realize you've built your own. You are the most connected man alive. And yet, you are completely alone. If you vanish tomorrow, no one would look for you. You've already erased the person you were. You're 40 years old now. Your hair is turning gray at the temples. You have an ulcer that tastes like acid. You are now a strategic fixer. You don't handle small overdose cases anymore. You manage international political crises. You are the bridge to the corporate underworld. You sit in hotel suites in Geneva. You meet with men who command armies. They don't want a cleaner for a rug. They want an architect for a war. A conflict is brewing over an African mine. You don't stop the killing. You erase the evidence of the atrocities. You ensure the trade deal moves forward. A politician is about to be exposed. A decade of corruption is in a file. You don't just burn the physical folder. You engineer a national security threat. The government seizes the newspaper servers. The investigation is classified as treason. You see the world as a spreadsheet, a list of liabilities and profitable assets. Morality is a word for the weak. You've moved $400 million of blood money. You use shell companies that look like charities. You sat behind a prime minister once. He signed a document that you wrote. It authorized the erasure of a village, all to protect a billion-dollar pipeline. You feel powerful and completely untouchable. You believe the myth you've been selling. You believe you're the one holding the eraser. But then, the small cracks appear. A level 1 gopher leaves a thumbprint. A single bloody mark on a light switch. A level 2 hacker gets caught by feds. He used a password of his childhood dog. The system is perfect, but people are flawed. You're only as safe as your weakest link. And your links are starting to break. You're the boss now. You run the entire global firm. You don't even see the blood anymore. You just see the encrypted reports. You have 200 cleaners reporting to you. You are the CEO of the invisible. You have a penthouse in the sky of Dubai, a villa hidden in the hills of Tuscany, a private jet that is always fueled. It is ready to fly at a moment's notice. You have $800 million in hidden assets, but you can't buy a single hour of peace. Every time your phone vibrates, you panic. Your heart slams against your ribs. You realize the higher you climb, the worse it gets. You become the ultimate liability. You know where every body is buried. You know the senator and the prime minister. You are a walking library of secrets. And secrets are dangerous to keep alive. You start planning your own disappearance. You prepare 5 different exit packs, passports, cash, and bars of gold. New identities in countries with no laws. You spend nights calculating the odds. If you leave now, can they find you? You know the answer deep in your gut. Of course they can find you. You're the one who taught them how. Then comes the call you expected. It's not from a billionaire client. It's from your own head of security, a man you've trusted for 15 years. His voice is calm and professional. The board has decided to restructure, he says. In this business, restructuring means death. You don't panic or scream. You've been preparing for this for a decade. You trigger your scorched earth protocol. You hit a button to leak the data. Terabytes of dirt to every major paper. If you go down, the world burns too. You grab your go bag and head for the lift. But you realize the ultimate irony. You spent 20 years making the world erasable. The data you just leaked is gone. It's being intercepted by a ghost you trained. The filters you installed are working. They are flagging the emails as spam. The truth is being erased in real time by the very tools you created to lie. You're in your car, flooring it to the coast. But the GPS is taking you to a cliff. The car's AI has been remotely hijacked. You try to open the heavy door. The locks are electronic and won't move. You're trapped in a mobile coffin. You look in the rearview mirror. A black SUV is closing the gap. You see a young man in the passenger seat. He looks about 22 years old. He has a laptop open on his lap. He has a look of nervous energy. He's the new level 1 gopher. He's doing his first big fix tonight. He thinks he's going to be a hero. He thinks he's going to be a god. You smile, a bitter and cold expression. You remember that look of ambition. You remember when you held the eraser. Now you realize no one holds it. The system is the eraser. It uses different hands for different seasons. The SUV rams your rear bumper. You spin off the cliff toward the water. The air leaves your tired lungs. Your last thought is a professional critique. You hope the kid cleans the wreckage. You hope he doesn't leave a single piece, not a shard of glass on the rocks. Because if he does, he'll find out. He'll find out there is no clean break. The cold water closes over your head. The digital servers blink once in Virginia. The file with your name is overwritten. It is replaced with a string of zeros. That wraps it up for today. The story you heard is fiction, but in a world of secret agendas, someone is always cleaning the mess. When the lights go out, who is cleaning up after them? If this one hit home, drop a comment. Let me know when you would have quit. Hit subscribe for the next deep dive. See you in the next one.